Hello, I'm E.B. Stevenson, and welcome to this EBTV video. Have you ever wondered how you would have talked to your younger self about things that you didn't know then that you know at this point in your life? I thought about that question for a long time now. And I wondered how I would talk to myself as a teenager and to myself as a young adult. Say, as a 30-something adult who is still single, about relationships, dating, cliques, and all that other stuff. My advice to parents is this. When your kid gets to be 13, 14, 15 years old, sit down, have a nice long talk with them about relationships, dating, cliques, and other such issues that they may be dealing with as the years go on. If you're a young adult, it would be best to seek the counsel of a psychologist, a licensed clinical social worker, or even a minister about the issues you're facing concerning dating, relationships, social cliques, professional struggles, and what have you. Now, one thing about professional troubles, they're going to happen as you go along in life. And I also should have been given better advice concerning seeking a career or entering a trade. So at this point, I'd like to give you how I would have talked to my teenage self and my young adult self about these issues. It's time that we had a talk. You're a teenager now, and you're trying to explore things that are new to you. You are going to be confronted with trying to enter certain social cliques that you're not going to be able to fit into. And you're thinking about girls. You have a number of hobbies that are keeping you occupied, and you're learning new things in high school. Let me give you some sound advice. Concentrate on your studies and developing the skills of your hobby. Developing the skills of your hobby is a good way to keep yourself out of trouble. And you gotta have good grades if you want to get into the college of your choice or get into tech school, if that's route you want to take. If you want to get a job later on, you would be best served to be doing what you're doing now. That's shoveling neighbors' driveways in the winter months and mowing their lawns in the summer. Folks like you who have learning disabilities are having a hard time finding jobs, especially when there are no laws to protect you from discrimination in the workplace on the basis of your disability. Many employers will not be able to handle a worker with a learning disability. So one thing you might want to consider is keeping on doing what you're doing now. Right now, your bread and butter are your snow shovel and our lawnmower. You may think that chasing girls is a normal activity for a teenage boy. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but chasing girls is not a normal teenage activity, especially if you have a learning disability like you've got. Many girls are not comfortable with your chasing them. And there are a lot of guys, especially older guys, that would be threatened by that kind of behavior. Because the other guys have known these girls for a long time. And you haven't had a chance to get to know them. You may think you're attractive, and that through having many girls as friends, you may think that you're a girl magnet. Well, you're not a girl magnet. The only person who thinks that you're attractive is you. Maybe mom and dad. But many girls are not going to find you attractive. You're not what they're looking for. What they're looking for is a young man who has the muscles. They're not looking for a young man who has the brains. And if you chase girls during your free time in school, that's not only going to raise the ire of the other guys in your school, but also school authorities like teachers and principals. They don't like that kind of behavior. So if I were you, I would not try to find a date, let alone a girlfriend. Because I don't want to see you in a world of hurt by the time you get to college or trade school, whichever course your life will go. Another suggestion is start attending church. You know, you haven't been going to church since you were in preschool. And you need to know yourself spiritually before you even consider dating. If I were you, I'd just stay away from girls. They don't have anything in common with you. And many of them will come from families with very conservative attitudes. Many of the parents will not approve of the idea of their daughter dating you. It's something for you to think about, son. You need to concentrate on your studies and your hobbies. You shouldn't go out and get a girlfriend at this point in your life. You also need to develop the skills you're going to need to make even an honest attempt at making extra money to pay for the things you need. Chasing girls, to put it in the words of a Japanese actor, will be the end of you. And like I've been saying several times, you need to concentrate on getting good grades in school and concentrate on developing the skills of your hobby. And you also need to start going to church. Because you need the spiritual strength to handle what life's going to throw at you in later years. You know, it's been a while since we've talked about relationships. You've been through a broken engagement, and that really left you emotionally scarred. You've tried dating, but you've gotten stood up 70-80% of the time. You've tried finding a girlfriend through a singles group, and it hasn't worked for you. And you're struggling in a career that should have gotten you enough money for you to have your own car, have your own place, and maybe your own wife. But things haven't worked out the way you'd hoped they would. you're in your 30s now, and maybe you should take a good, long, hard look at your life. You're doing some of the right things. You've left that fundamentalist church that you were in, became closer to the Lord by converting to Catholicism. You've been staying out of the dating scene while you're trying to work out your problems. There are some things that you haven't learned from your youth. And when you were younger, you were used to some of the finer things in life. And many girls were not used to the finer things in life. They have had the time to establish themselves in successful careers. And they're looking for men who are themselves established in successful careers, and you have struggled in your career. And many women don't like men who struggle in careers. You've been too trusting. You meet try to meet girls in online chat rooms and try to set up a date with them, and when it comes time to show up, the girls don't show up. And I'm thinking, what is the matter with you? Well, you're seeking the help of a therapist, and that's good. And you're starting to finally recognize that it's not good for you to be trying to establish relationships after you've been through a broken engagement, and after the girls your age have shown a disdain for even the idea of dating you. You should think about giving up this trying to find a girlfriend. You live in a city where dates are hard to come by. When you were a teenager, there were more boys in your class than girls. And all the girls your age were gone by the time you were 18 years old. Were taken, that is. And you're at the age now where most of the world is paired up. Your difficulty in establishing a career and your bad experiences with dating and relationships and your not being able to fit into certain social cliques is really holding you back. If I were you, I'd consider going back to college for a degree in a different field. I would consider giving up on dating and relationships even if it's permanent. You should think about finding new hobbies and you really should think about avoiding things that will hurt you. I would definitely avoid online dating because most of the women who are on these dating sites are not who they are. They misrepresent themselves. Be honest with yourself. Do you think that you're going to have a chance of ever finding the right woman for you? I think you should accept life as a single person. Life as a bachelor. God is more than likely not going to put that woman in your path because the woman you almost married did not believe in God. You should have known that before you read chapter 6, verses 14 and 15 of Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. You two weren't equally yoked. I believe that no Christian should be dating an atheist. Now, if you're a Catholic, you should be dating a Catholic woman. If you're a Protestant guy, you should be dating another Protestant woman. Yep. It's about balance of faiths. You're also attracting the wrong kind of women. You're attracting women who have got developmental disabilities. You're even attracting women who have not always been women. You should be attracting women who are deep in their belief in God. You should be attracting more open-minded women. Most women have closed minds. Do you ever think that maybe the right woman for you doesn't exist? You should be having a conversation with your therapist about these issues. And you should be reflecting on that while you're reading Scripture. You shouldn't be seeking dates and relationships when you're struggling in your career. Because that's not healthy for you. And you've just received the devastating diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome. And that diagnosis will keep you out of many job opportunities and many social opportunities. Most people who have similar conditions to yours are not working and have a hard time making it in a society that's rooting against you. So accept your singleness and try your best to live life with what you've got. And that's how I would talk to my teenage self and my young adult self. I'm E.B. Stevenson for EBTV. Have that discussion with your teenage kid, or if you're a young adult, seek the advice of a certified professional or your minister. Thank you for watching.